Hello there, TV Land. I hope you're ready for another sessions of frights and scares. Ooh.
And we're live?
We are live. Just keep going.
Okay. We need to work a little bit more on these bumpers. Welcome to Zealots of Zul. It's Sunday. Our sixth episode, is it?
Yeah.
Sixth week. Wow.
Looking at the six.
6 times the charm, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to welcome you on behalf of our players. I really have a chance to jump in and introduce himself in just a second. I'm Cliff Dunn. I'm your dungeon master and creator of Zealots of Zul, and along with Scott Coventry, co-creator of ZealZaddy. We want to we'll get you up to date in just a few minutes on what happened last week as we get things started. Firstly, we want to thank everybody who has tuned in regularly and who is also subscribed on Twitch.tv. We are, in the process of building our audience on this platform. We're delighted and grateful to that Twitch has created and developed this streaming platform for people who have a passion for gaming and for communicating those games. So we are very much committed to being a part of this community, and we want to thank those who have pioneered it and brought the idea of Twitch casting and streaming live role-playing stories into people's homes and imaginations, and we will do our part to live, work, and operate impeccably in this Twitch-averse. And I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, the Adventure Game Store and Dragon's Lair and the Adventure Game Society, which is really shaping up very, very nicely. We're located in Davie, Florida, which is on the west side of Greater Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. At least Broward County for now, because there's some discussion as to changing the name of Broward.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's some, whatever. Everything is.
What bad guy? I know.
It's people, they didn't like him. He did a thing and said, his first name was Napoleon afterward. You know what I'm saying? So, no good ever come of that. So, but anyway, so we are in Broward. There was actually a reason they're thinking about calling it Lauderdale County because, but whatever. After Major William Lauderdale, hero of the Indian War or something. Anyway, but there'll be a problem with that eventually. So, but we are here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and I want to thank Brian Dalrymple, one of the owners of the Dragon's Lair, and his partners who have made this fantastic. He and his partners have made this speaking of platforms available to those who want to learn how to game, those who want to get their game on. And those who want to experience all kinds of games, tabletop, role-playing games, board games. One of the cool things about this place is that kind of like a gym where you have a lot of diversity, where you've got both the older folks working out with the gym rats. You have those kinds of degrees and levels of skill and expertise here. So if you're looking to play a game, if you've never played before, you will always be able to find somebody that can teach you how to do it. There's classes, there's boot camps, there's ongoing special events and activities that go on here on the weekends that give you a chance to get your game on. And there's a reason that gaming is really the hottest hobby in America right now. I know that Mike, who plays Atlas, has had recently very passionate discussions about the efficacy of grown adult people playing role-playing games. I myself am guilty as charged. So, and we welcome your you coming down here and watching the game. So, thanks, Brian. Thanks, Cameron and the great staff. Who's our friend that's working next door? Glenn. Yeah, he was just looking for a free restroom.
He's actually setting up to play an old school game of Traveler right now.
Nice. Very cool. Science fiction. And in fact, it's really cool because one of our boosters and supporters who watches the stream, Fritz Bronner, former senior producer with Disney Interactive, actor, co-star with Peter Falk. I saw that movie Happy New Year recently, dude. Very funny. Nobody jumps into their pants from their underwear like you do, Fritz. You have to watch the movie and you'll see the reference. It's a G-rated movie too. Peter Falk is in it, for goodness sake. Your grandparents could watch it. But anyway, but we were discussing recently how many people are getting into gaming? The level of people, and Fritz was a big Traveler guy back in the day, and we played Traveler at a time. Scott, you were one of these guys, back then too. We played Traveler at a time when this camera that you're watching us right now would be the equivalent of the space shuttle. Everything was VHS, and we used to do videotapes, like news reports for the, So, anyway, Traveler is cool. It's fun. If you're in the neighborhood, you should check it out. All right, let's have the Zealots introduce themselves, and then we'll jump back into the game, starting from the top right of the array. Yes. That would be
Yes, hello.
That's me.
you. Yes, you.
Hi, everyone. I am Jake Petrovsky,
Hi,
and
Jake.
I play Alexides, a Coranian noble, and things have gotten interesting. And I've made a lot of money recently. So,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
thanks to Anupam's hard work.
I'm Mike. I play Atlas, rogue extraordinaire.
Atlas.
Atlas with 2 T's. Rogue extraordinaire of Vanishar.
I'm Scott Coventry. I play Arslan, a less extraordinary rogue living in Badashar. More of a businessman than I don't know how far to go with that. But I'll leave it alone.
Don't put yourself down, okay?
Yeah.
We're all extraordinary here.
I don't know
We're
nothing
all
about that.
special snowflakes, okay? Everybody knows this.
I'm just a businessman on a pension.
Damn right.
It's a contractor.
Hello, I'm Anna. I play Sabine, who is technically a bard. Obviously, I'm sure by now her compatriots have realized she's a number of other things as well.
Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm playing Kepri, also known as the Viper, fresh from his one undefeated winning streak of 1 match in
Love you,
the.
Viper!
I love you too, random citizen, and also a very, very rich man at the moment. Let's see how long that lasts and how big my collection grows.
Yes, indeed.
Right, your collection.
Hello, my name's Alex. I play Anupam Dewar. He is a human monk. He is on a mission. He enjoys long walks on the beach, pina coladas, and getting caught in the rain.
And fist fights.
Oh, and fist fights. Yeah, I mean, I thought that
Well,
was
why else would you be on the beach in the rain with a pina colada if you're not looking for a fist fight?
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. I mean, that is kind of a recipe for getting yourself into a fist fight,
Definitely.
especially down here.
Now, both Jake and Mike were out last week, and coincidentally, their characters were not involved in any of the action last week. The prior week, they had arrived at Blood and Bones, which is a fight pit establishment in the Grotto of Silk Vales, the pleasure district of Vadashar. And as part of their ongoing, currently, they've been looking for Malik, an absconded apostate priest of Baal who stole an important artifact from the temple of Baal and the archpriest of that cult. And so through various machinations, they've been brought in by the archpriest Harvin of Konox to assist in getting back his artifact and also finding the absconded priest Malik. 2 weeks ago, that trail led them to Blood and Bones, where they had discovered earlier at the temple, Alexides had learned that the previous occupant of his own cell, his quarters in the temple, was Malik, who did the job that he's doing now. So he found a clue that led them to the Blood and Bones. After the first fight, which took place 2 weeks ago, in which Anupam defeated his opponent, Malik and Atlas left to take a sizable amount of money out of harm's way.
Alexides?
I'm sorry, Alexides, and because Alexides,
One of
sorry,
these
sorry, I got it. Alexides and Attalus,
Damn it, Attalus, you took my.
they left, and
Who's this guy then?
so they were gone last,
Well, I mean, he is a rogue.
Right.
which removed them from the action last week, and most of last week's story took place within the confines of Blood and Bones, where Kepri had a bout and was victorious. And during that time, anybody that wants to jump in, you can, feel free. They saw Malik. Actually, they encountered Castorno, who was one of the priests of the priests of Baal, who works in the temple. Yeah, and he pointed out that Malik was coincidentally was in attendance with somebody, and so they decided that this would be a good time for them to grab him. And what happened from there?
He went off with. Apparently, he was on a date, and
I mean, date.
Yeah, I mean, where you take your date, the fighting pits,
I mean,
and
I do.
there you go. And he and his date, who is a large, imposing-looking gentleman that we didn't want to mess with, went to a alley and enjoyed each other's company for a while, and then they left. And at a certain point, we attacked them. Yes, as they were entering the Great Souk, and we didn't want to lose them. We attacked them and managed to get Malik, although we did not get the larger gentleman, who, as it turned out, is some sort of magic user of some kind who evaded us.
By putting us into darkness.
Yes, with darkness.
He cast a magical darkness that engulfed you. Who was present, by the way?
Everybody
Everybody
but
except
us.
for them two.
Yeah.
You two were not there.
We were storing our monies.
Yes, they were counting money, rolling
Very
around
ones
in
with
it.
huge perception weren't there.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they were making beds out of their money. So that's what I guess.
Stuffing.
You know, jumping up and down on their gold
Yes.
coins.
Rolling.
By the way, you all take 6 points of damage. It's not like laying on money.
Trying to Scrooge McDuck
Trying to
things
Scrooge
out.
McDuck into
Right.
the,
We're putting everybody's gold. Oh, but it hurts.
It's not behaving like a liquid. It should.
It's gold coins.
Right,
Why isn't it
so-
a liquid?
You only hurt the one you love.
Right.
So you captured Malik, and
We took him back to my place where we have him tied, and we covered his head so he couldn't see.
and let me know. Tell me how you have him secured. And so you went back to further into you used the circuitous method to get back to
Right.
your.
And we were under cover of darkness too. It was night, so there's less light anyway.
We have him bound and gagged with his
And we covered him with a cloth so he didn't see where we were going.
and his feet tied up behind him with the rope around his neck. So if he does relax too much, he will choke himself.
And he won't be left unattended.
Right?
anyway.
Yes, he's attended.
Minor oversight.
No, he's attended.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We need to get everyone else here.
I'll let you, ethical, moral souls, get your heads around your what you're going to do.
Yeah.
After leaving the Blood and Bones, you where were you planning on going with your winnings? I mean, just it doesn't have to be like a big thing.
Back to the ziggurat.
You were going to go back. You were going to take your money. You were both going to. Did you have money that you had made?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were going to take your money back to the ziggurat. Okay.
I don't know. Otherwise, I don't really know of a better thing to do with it than to bring it back to my quarters.
Well, I mean,
That's fair.
it turns. I mean, as it happens, the cult of Baal is, at least in the civilized world that extends from the Valley of Khalif to all the way west to Quran. It is a secure institution for for securing one's wealth because it's an international institution. So you could, in good, it's actually a pretty smart place to bring your winnings back. Atlas, were you going to? I mean, obviously you're accompanying him. I'm not saying that you have to leave him there, but
I was going to get him back to the temple, and then I was going to make my way over to my flat.
You were going to leave. You were going to separate from him.
I told him that I'd be back probably about in a half an hour. Get home, stash the loot, and come back to meet him.
And what were you gonna do anything while you were?
Aside from store my winnings, not really.
Okay.
Grab a beer, hang out for a minute.
Okay.
Count my money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my room back together because we completely dismantled it before we left.
That's right.
That's true.
You ransacked your
We
room.
ransacked my
As we
room.
were heading back.
I mean, you ransacked a box and a bedroll.
Where do you?
It's my room.
It's true.
Where do you?
It's his bedroll.
You're gonna put your you'll put your winnings in the. I mean, again, you can. There's a proper way to do that. We don't have to make a big deal out of this right now. I'm just saying that.
I'm gonna do it in whatever the most proper way is possible.
I'm saying you can just put it in your box. There's nothing wrong with it. It's your money. You can hide it under your bedroll, but if you wanted to, you could also secure it amongst the in the actual temple.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll keep some amount of it. Maybe 80.
How much was it?
520 derricks.
520 derricks.
Yeah, he's loaded.
How much were you going to keep?
I was going to keep about 80.
This is Vanishar.
I was going to keep about 80 on me, and then take 440.
Everyone knows the banks are the most secure places in Vanishar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean that's quite a sizable amount of money.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of money. Probably more than most peasants make in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Almost certainly more than most peasants make in a lifetime.
And as you're presumably,
I was going to make sure that we weren't being followed.
That's fine. Make a perception check, Atlas.
14.
You didn't detect any pursuit or anybody following you. As you're at the temple, going about your business and then getting ready to drop off your, carrying these sizable sacks of winnings, you notice somebody coming down a side hallway. He's a very powerfully built guy. You can tell even from a distance.
Like Castorno, powerfully built?
No, he looks very muscular, and he's wearing a white tunic and laced sandals. And make a perception roll.
Oof. Garbage. 9.
Okay. I mean, as he gets closer, you see his face has got, it looks like a highway of scars,
Mm-hmm.
He looks like probably he's about in his late 30s or maybe 40. And you look like you need some help there, my lad.
None that I would ask of you.
Then
Roll initiative.
then I will not subject you to the to my assistance then. And you struggle on making your way with your.
Was this inside the confines?
It's in the
of
temple.
Ziggurat?
It's in the
okay.
temple.
Then I'd ask him who he is.
Yeah. Oh,
If it were in the street, I'd be like, get
No,
away
no,
from
no,
me,
no, no, no,
creepy
no. It's
bird.
not in the street. It's
Oh, okay.
inside the
Got
temple.
it.
This
So-
is after you've dropped off your
in-
money. And your
I would
yeah.
say, and who might I say is offering?
I'm a servant of the ziggurat and the archpriest. My name is Baracus.
Oh, well, as fine as it is to meet you, Baracus, I think that I'll do just fine on my own.
But hold on. I collect the taxes for the church. May I see your winnings?
Fair enough, fair enough. Are you the chap that's taken over for Malik?
I am.
Well, these are for you then. And you drop a sack on the ground and well, you can't.
Yeah.
He looks at it and doesn't make a move
Good.
to assist you.
Smart person. I'll take them. I'll look at them later. And pick the bag up.
Clink, 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 clink.
Once I get to a secure location where I can actually put the stuff down, then I'll open these.
Yeah, you so basically, I mean, there's a stack of this is just a couple of things, but this is a stack of things. Most of the mail that you get is along the lines of that sort of thing. That's not, by the way, what it is, incidentally. It's not
these pieces.
well, no. I mean, you obviously don't. No.
This.
Yeah, I mean, you don't actually have an invoice that says da 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 da. But I mean, most of the correspondence is that sort of thing.
Like this.
Like it's like requests for money that's owed by the temple for whatever's. That was just more for the.
Got it.
And then this is also in there. It's like a stack of this thing. There's also other correspondence, etc.
That's interesting. I'll have to speak to him about this.
And then make an insight roll.
That's not great either. That's a 9.
Okay. I won't torture you. You find within a short period of time, you find the best place the person to get that to. His name is Ekram, and he is he's sort of like the right hand of the archpriest, and you would whatever the amount he has it, writes you a receipt for it.
Got it.
And
Secure.
all right. And around the time you finish, Atlas comes to meet you at the ziggurat.
Perfect. I have some business with the archpriest.
Okay.
That
You don't have to take care of it right now.
I'd like to. What time of day is it? Is it an appropriate time of
Well,
day
I mean,
for
it's
me to-
evening. You had
so
left the yeah.
I'll wait until the next day, and
It's
I'll,
earlier than where they are right at the
Got it.
moment, but it's
It's
early evening. It's past twilight.
it's normal. It's late enough in the day that I'll wait to deal with this.
Yeah.
Because the fights didn't
Start
Start
until
in the
sundown. Got it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep this on my person, and then
Should we head back?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
What's your
Check our
person's
friends.
name?
Gregory.
head back and check on our friends?
Yes.
Okay. Atlas, make a history roll.
Ooh, I rolled a 19.
Okay, nice. So, as the two of you, guys, are heading back to rendezvous with Arslan and Sabine and Anupam and Kepri, as you're heading back to past the ziggurat, you see a small group is gathered on the street. I mean, it's like the sidewalk. It's off to the sidewalk, basically. And you see a familiar face sitting on the street, having a drink, drinking with a cup of wine or something, and you recognize a storyteller, Anad of Vadishar. And he's sitting there, and he's got a group of people around, and you hear him as you, the two, Alexis, the two of you are actually walking past. And you hear he is telling a story.
Slow down a little, just over here. Which one he's telling today?
The people of Sorindor built enormous tombs to house their dead, higher than the highest watchtowers, carved from the finest, most fragrant woods and gilded by Atacasian metalsmiths. Oh, the gold they must have spent, the months and years they must have labored. A wealthy man's tomb was planned for him from the day of his birth. Imagine going every day to oversee the construction of your own sepulchre, taking pride in it as your life's greatest accomplishment, even looking forward to your own reckoning so you can take up residence. But then the fire demons rained down unholy death upon Sorindor, and the tombs were burned black, and the gilding bubbled and melted away, and all the glory faded and lost. Now no one recalls their names, the tomb builders of Sorindor. Contrarily, the peoples of Imbleshar and Shurpak were so absurdly and so intently afraid of death that their kings determined that they wouldn't die, and declared themselves living gods who would rule forever. And indeed they didn't die. But not dying isn't really a pleasant thing after all, and their rule was awful, for they had no fear and no desire and no hope. And their people feared death all the more when they saw their kings living on and on with no end, while they themselves died. Imbleshar fell into decay and ruin, its king stark raving, its people likewise mad. They say that plants grew up in the streets and the fields overgrew with weeds, while the Imbleshari sat in their houses and wished for immortality. Shurpak was taken by the sea, drowned in floods over the course of a single night. Its king alone survived, clinging to the tip of the very highest Shurpakian mountain, now an island in a rising sea. Some say he sits there yet, the immortal king of a barren rock. And some people toss him a few coins. Thank you, my friends, thank you.
I'll go up and drop the silver.
Ah, thank you, Atlas. Nicely done.
Your stories are well spoken as always.
I'll toss him a couple copper. And then I'll say, you don't get rich by spending your money.
Baal's blessings on you, young sir.
Immortality seems a fickle thing, but one must wonder what it would be like to live forever.
Become a lich and you shall see, but no one will have you.
What's a lich?
A creature out of legend, like a woman who does not argue. I do not recognize you, young sir. You serve the ziggurat of Baal?
I do. I am the new subdeacon.
I am sure that you will serve to the greater glory of the archpriest Harvin, and that Baal will, etc., etc.
Etc., etc.
I am Anad, humble storyteller of Vadishar, as you see.
Good to meet you, Anad. I'm sure that your stories extend far beyond the myths and legends that you spread to the rabble in the streets.
Perhaps, but not more beyond a few copper.
Perhaps some other day I'll see need of stories that cost much more.
In the meantime, I'll spend this where it's most efficacious.
Come,
And,
Atlas. We have business to attend to.
And you find your ways. Where were you going again?
We were going
Try to meet
back
up with them.
We were going back to the Blood and Bones.
Blood and Bone.
Okay. Wait, you were going where?
We're going back to the fighting pits.
Oh, okay.
Trying to meet up with them. I suppose that at that point they will have left.
They have.
And then we probably try to.
I mean, you look around, you go inside, you see. There's still fights going on.
I was gonna say, I mean, that seemed like the most logical place to go back and wait for them was at the fight pits. So, I mean, would have at least brought it up and been like, hey, maybe
Well,
one
it
of us.
depends on what
should-
time it is. If this was right after we just captured Malik, we're not heading back yet.
Well, I mean, one of us could.
After we secure Malik and make sure he's down, sure.
Yeah.
He's secure.
Autopalm doesn't have
Perhaps
a
the
stealth
poison
for
pen
what's
will
gonna come
hopefully
next.
keep him down longer, but not on death.
He won't die.
I've heard that the pen is mightier than the sword.
I will head back and retrieve our erstwhile companions. I promise not to get into any more fights.
Unless you're paid for them.
Maybe. Hey man, I'm doing all right.
My question for your fights are you worth more winning now or worth more losing? It's something to contemplate for later.
And to be sure,
Now